Hello, everybody, and good morning. Thank you so much for tuning into the show yet again. I'm here to tell you guys that it is about time that you follow or subscribe to the show wherever you listen. I know y'all are out there listening, and you're not subscribing, and you're not following the show, and I don't like that kind of behavior. You guys know I'm tired of working these garbage jobs, wasting my time. The links are in the description of the show wherever you listen. All the links, all the social media links, all the different platforms. Wherever you listen, all I ask is to subscribe, to follow. Please, I'm begging you. Subscribe, follow, and most importantly, enjoy today's episode. What's happening, everybody? Things are getting a little messy here in the Simian world. However, I always have backup plans. So you guys know who the fuck I am? Do you know who I am? I am an overthinking machine. My mind never stops. My head is 3 times the size it should be for a person with my dimensions because of how much I think. I think hard and I think long. I think about everything that can go wrong. I think about everything that can go right. I think of contingency plans. I think of escape plans. 1, 2, 3, 4. If those go wrong, if those go right. Shit, I am a general. They're sending me to Ukraine. I'm going to fix things up. Me and Putin are having dinner tomorrow night. I recommended the veal chop. It is delicious. They put a lovely marsala wine sauce with the phenomenal portobello mushrooms. We're going to have a great time, me and him. But anyway, this is an older episode. This is an episode that James and I put together one night because I figured before my set over at the Comics Roadhouse in Mohegan Sun, which where I'll be working very soon, before that set, before that show, which he had come to, I was like, let's do a little warm-up. Let's do a little podcast. Let's get the comedy muscles squeezing, the speaking muscles working. And that's kind of what this is. You know, it's a little old. The references are, a couple weeks old when they're talking about the show and all this shit. And it's funny because that show kind of sucked, right? That show wasn't my best show. It was very weird. It was incredibly novice feeling. And I'm not saying that I'm anything more than a novice, but it was very, very novice feeling. It was very strange. I didn't love the show. I didn't love the performance, but I've had better since. I will have better after. I've had better before than that. But either way, like I said, things are getting a little wonky here with the show. We're trying to put stuff together before we move all the way into my new place in New London, where we will keep doing the show. Guests are going to be different. We're going to figure out a situation with that. I got to meet people. Again, like I said, might be two solo episodes a week, but nonetheless, I'm going to talk more about that for Monday's episode. Touch base with you guys on some of that shit. And what else? I feel like there's more to be said. The first couple weeks of the show coming in April will probably still be in this room just because I want to have like a backlog of some episodes just so I can put shit together while I'm still figuring out the setup at the new place. And that's it. I don't know why I'm going into so much detail about this shit. All I wanted to say was that this episode is a little older, a little archive episode, and I want to thank James for helping me put it together for you motherfuckers today. So thank y'all for listening, and go listen some more. Peace. All right, we're here.
Yes, we are. How are you doing?
Splendid. We're going to go do comedy tonight.
Well, we're doing comedy right now, but I think you're doing a bit of a different form of comedy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know. What am I doing?
I mean, what are you doing at 10 o'clock tonight at Mohegan Sun Casino?
Fuck. God damn it, I forget.
Okay, well, we're doing comedy now, but there's a special form of comedy that you have to do on a stage in front of an audience.
Oh, my improv group doing a show tonight.
No. I think it's a...
No?
No. This is more planned than improvisation. It relies on, the committance to memory of several humorous phrases or anecdotes or societal observations.
This was the sketch comedy. I love the sketch comedy.
No. This is purely, using voice, using sophistry, using the ability to, guide a crowd with your words into making them laugh. Like telling a joke. It's like you stand up in front of people.
I don't know. I mean, it'll come to me. I mean, it's happening tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
You sure you can't really think of anything that, is sort of similar to what we're doing, but shorter and like...
Well, I mean, there's radio shows.
No. Not literally, but like... There's like a usual career that podcasters are and that podcasters become. So, it's like you...
Like editors.
No.
Like videographers?
No. It requires a lot less education than that. Yeah. Like really any man off the street could do it, but it's more about like linguistic talents and charisma, charm, and wit.
Am I representing somebody in court today?
No. No, it's not being a lawyer. It's not getting paid $200,000 to fill out forms for a living.
So you mean to tell me I'm going to go up on a stage by myself...
Precisely.
Stand in front of people and tell them jokes?
Tell them societal observations, anecdotes, jokes. Yeah. And I make them laugh. And you got to tell them the truth, too. Because, I forget who said it, but it's an old political saying that if you tell people the truth, they'll kill you. But if you get them laughing, they'll let you live.
Right. That's true. I heard somewhere that if you make a police officer laugh, that your odds are better.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Your odds are better of not getting a ticket. I don't know about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I watch an old TV show where it's an affable old detective who just gets by on his wit and charm. Like, if you're nice, if you're courteous, if you're humble, it's like, yeah, that helps you. But specifically what you're doing is more than, like, humility and kindness. It's like you're making people laugh through jokes.
Right.
And you stand up on a stage and you tell jokes. You're a stand-up comedian. Which is what...
Damn, that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
12 minutes into the Smoking Simian.
We figured it out.
reminding you that he is performing stand-up comedy at Mohegan Sun. So how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be fun. I feel like it's going to be a good show. I'm working, doing some new stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool that everyone is coming out for it, though, because I know the ones in New York are a little bit of a hike. But
well, I mean, the ones in New York are special in their own way, but, like, have you ever been on a stage that big before?
Well, this isn't like a stage.
No.
It's a comedy club. It's not like a fucking...
Well, yeah, but how big's the venue? How many seats?
I don't know. Comedy club size? I haven't checked.
Okay.
After looking at the seating map, it looks like it's bigger than I thought. I didn't know that there'd be different, like, admission sections and shit.
So, like, it could be, like of a decent size.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not worried about that. I think it'll be fun. I just want to go up and have fun.
Well, yeah, but it's just, like I'm excited for you. Like, that's big, It's like it's going to be with multi-tiered sections. Like, it's a natural progression is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been focusing a little bit more on obviously getting down what I'm trying to say, but having fun and like slowing down a little bit. Sometimes I'm a little quick, but having fun while you're doing whatever the fuck you're trying to do, especially if it's an art, is kind of imperative.
Yeah. Like you can't view it as like a task because when you do that, it becomes like robotic.
Yeah, it becomes work. I mean, obviously everything takes work. Whether you're trying to get good in an art or...
Well, no, but we mean work as in, like, modern work, like regimented assembly line, kind of just churning things out,
Right.
That's why, like, for the lack of a better word, the democratization of art through things like Patreon, podcasts, stand-up, it's like, you don't have a boardroom and 10 writers writing your seasons, you just have you, which enables you to, like, view it as, like, performance art. You can't, like, I don't know. It's like, that's why people like stand-up comedians and why they're popular now, because it's like they still tell the truth, and you can go to them for different things.
They're also held to, like, a different standard in terms of political... They almost kind of get a pass.
Yeah.
Like, at least now. I think now things are changing a little bit socially.
Yeah.
Especially in comedy. Like, comics are getting a little bit more of a pass, like, with Netflix standing behind Dave Chappelle and that type of thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of showing that it's bullshit to compromise somebody's art based on what a certain group of people think is allowed to listen to or allowed to consume.
Yeah. I remember, the last thing I heard about that is that the employees walked out on Netflix. But I really didn't follow that.
Good for them. They have fucking no job, and Dave Chappelle is still doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. The last thing is that Dave Chappelle closed. I think he was against the building of residential housing in his community. I think that was a month ago.
He did what? What was it?
He opposed the building of residential community. I believe something on the basis that it would lower property values.
Sure.
Well, because he's a multi-millionaire.
He lives in on some big field in Ohio.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want. I mean, that's
Well,
of a standpoint.
Another reason why Netflix stood behind him is that it's good market sense.
Yeah.
Because his specials bring in a lot of money because he's a very popular and well-liked comedian.
Well, he can also do whatever he wants. He proved it when he left the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
For 5 years or
and
whatever.
Went to Africa. I don't know where in Africa.
Yeah. Richard Pryor did the same thing.
Yeah.
He went to Africa, came back.
Is that before or after he lit himself on fire?
I think it was after.
Yeah.
Because he was still saying the N-word then. He stopped after he went to Africa.
Yeah. The one thing I remember about Richard Pryor is that he once told a joke where he lit a match and said, "Oh, it's Richard Pryor going down the street," because he burned himself and ran.
Yeah, he was smoking crack.
Yeah. Oh.
He lit himself on fire while he was smoking crack.
Oh God.
He's like, everybody free base, but I'm the only motherfucker that got burnt up.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, he was one of the first guys that got really popular telling jokes about his life.
Yeah.
Being incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Lenny Bruce was doing it, but he wasn't. I mean, he was popular, but he wasn't super mainstream.
Yeah.
And sometimes he wasn't necessarily talking about himself. He was just kind of talking about the aspect, like drug abuse or something like that, women. Whereas Richard Pryor talked about himself openly. So he added that, piece. He added that technique, I guess, to comedy.
Well, when I think about comedy of that age, I think about Carlin. And then Lenny Bruce was before the rest, because Lenny Bruce was early 60s. I remember he fought all those obscenity laws.
Yeah,
because
early 60s.
Well, people forget, but up until the middle 60s and 70s. Yeah, I'm sorry, the middle 60s. It's couples couldn't share a bed on TV because it was too sexual.
Really, I didn't know that.
I Love Lucy. Lucy Ball and Desi Arnaz were mandated by the network to sleep in single beds next to each other.
Wow.
What else? Have you the Fonz?
Yeah.
One, he was Italian, and two, he wore a leather jacket. So in order to not promote being a thug on TV, they mandated that the Fonz could only wear his jacket when he was on the motorcycle. So that's why there's it's episodes where the motorcycle was parked in the kitchen just so that he can keep the it was weird.
That is weird.
But
so it looks like he's a guy who rides motorcycles.
Yeah.
A thug.
And not a greaser.
Yeah. People who ride motorcycles are historically upstanding.
Historically great.
Sorry, somebody was buzzing me. Fuck those people.
It's the one percenters. I think is what they called them.
Who is this now?
That's what outlaw bikers used to call themselves because, Motorcycle Magazine in 1951 said 99% of American bikers are law-abiding citizens. So if you were part of the 1% that are part of a criminal gang, bikers out west, and they can be powerful like the Hell's Angels. They're a legit criminal enterprise.
Imagine going to jail for saying certain things that a bunch of people like you decided that you can't say. And when I say a bunch of people like you, I mean just another human.
No.
Obviously.
I thought you meant lawyers.
No. I mean, I guess them too, but
because
they don't.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You better believe that people in my profession. Let's think about it. Irish Catholic, definitely. Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity.
Right.
You better believe that they didn't want.
They don't want. Sex on stage.
They would never let what Young Thug suggested and let a second Peter be added to Family Guy.
What does that mean? He just wants another Peter?
I think that means he just wants another Peter.
Why did he... Wait, but what's the context? Why did he even say that? I saw you said that in the chat.
That was... Well, I mean, that was a tweet that he posted.
Really?
Yeah.
A second Peter.
A second
Why? How would they even make the... I mean, I guess they could do a clone episode.
Well, I mean, like, they brought Brian back after they killed him and replaced him with Vincent Curatola from The Sopranos. You know, he voiced, like, another Family Guy dog.
Which one is that? Which one's Vincent? I forget who that is.
I don't know my Sopranos very well. I haven't actually seen the show.
Is that the guy? Is that the actor's name, or is that the fucking...
That's the actor's name.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, I want to say Big Pussy, but I don't think it's Big Pussy.
No, I don't think it's Big Pussy either.
No.
It might be, though. Big Pussy and Joey Diaz, they look the same.
Joey Diaz in the Many Saints of Newark. He has one line.
Is that what it is?
One line, I forget what, and then he just gets shot.
It's great that he gets cast as, like, big, fat Italians.
Don't make me get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like we were saying before, Lenny Bruce used to have guys sitting... He would have the NYPD... Well, he wouldn't have them, but they would be there, sitting at his club just waiting for him to say some shit so they could arrest him.
Yeah. Once again, Irish Catholics, people like me. It was definitely Officer O'Brady and O'Harahan sitting there being like, oh, I wonder when he's going to talk about sex. Yeah, that's when we get him.
Jewish boy.
Lenny Bruce was Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
That was a big part of his thing.
Oh, yeah, no, that was definitely...
He'd say, like, schlep and fucking all that shit.
My family said schlep. I didn't know it was, like, Yiddish.
Yeah.
One with, schlep is the big one because I do schlep my feet a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
He had an interesting bit how, like, if everybody was... He was talking about everybody's too good to do certain things.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna fucking schlep plates? Who's gonna do any of that shit? Everyone's too self-important and whatever the fuck. It was just interesting that a guy from 1961 or whatever was up there and already had the thought process to go ahead and challenge norms and challenge the news. Like, he would go up there with newspapers from different cities reporting on the same thing with completely different information.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was crazy.
I mean, even back then, the trends of the 1960s have continued to today. You know, the same social ills. You know, like, yes, like artistic tastes and movies and the particular politics of the age and change, but poverty's still a thing. You know, high class hierarchies are still a thing. The rich getting richer is still being a thing. So, like, it was just as true back then as it is now. That, like, these social ills that, like, people use comedy to bring out to the, like, forefront, you know. Because I think that that's the most acceptable way that Americans and maybe a lot of other people can, like, take the truth.
Right.
Like, you need to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, to tie it to current events.
Right.
Do you know, and I'm not making this up, do you know what one of the roles that President Zelensky had before he became president of Ukraine?
I do, actually. He's a comic.
Yeah. You know, he was on a TV show.
Was he?
Yeah. You want to know what the premise of that TV show was?
Wasn't it like a romance reality TV show? No.
It was better. The premise of the show is that what if an actor became the president of Ukraine?
Wow.
And then he, because of Ukrainian politics, they haven't been great. The last few presidents have been rich oligarchs. Zelensky, like, the show is canceled. He runs for president because everybody likes him because of the show, and he wins. Now he's president of Ukraine.
And he's out there fighting, too.
And he's out there with the Russian army trying to take his country.
He used his television show as his campaign.
Yeah.
It's genius. It's almost like what one of our former leaders did.
You know, I was in a good mood. I was thinking, you know, let's riff about the past. Let's riff about good shit. Let's tell some
That's the
jokes.
past.
And then you had to remind me that, oh yeah, we also have a guy that got famous and became president.
A couple times. Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, but I don't think people were like thinking about, yeah, no, that's the guy from Bedtime for Bonzo.
Maybe.
No, not in the same way they like when you think Ronald Reagan, you think about, like Cold War, tear down the wall, that Family Guy joke, he's like banging it against the McDonald's. That's the Soviet Union.
Him getting shot and living.
Him getting shot and living by a guy that now posts songs to YouTube.
Really?
You didn't hear this?
Who is this?
John Hinckley. He shot Reagan because he fell in love with Jodie Foster. He might have been an MK Ultra victim. I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh, come on.
I didn't know this.
The Unabomber was one.
Now he does what?
Now he posts acoustic. So he was in prison forever because, he shot the president.
Right.
But
Didn't they let Sirhan out?
no. They denied his parole.
Oh, well, that's a shame. See, that's what happens when you finish the job. You gotta stay.
Okay, genuinely, come on, that there were a dozen things up with that. He had a gun with 6 bullets, but there are like 8 shots on the tape.
Really? I don't know the whole background behind that.
Well,
I know that there's obviously controversy behind that.
Well, both Kennedys, there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, Sirhan is still denied parole, but John Hinckley, who almost killed Reagan.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing great.
This is him.
I just want to remind you that I have a single now out.
He now has a career where he posts acoustic
I got my new
guitars.
album. It's called "Shoot the Fucking President in the Chest." Hey guys, I'm doing shows at different bars.
Yeah.
In the Tucson area. If you want to come, and it's gonna feature songs off my new mixtape. I shot Reagan, but he lived. With my hit single, I didn't do a good job. Did you ever see? And it's funny how Reagan played it off, because there was he was at another thing, another big fucking whatever speaking event, and someone made a loud pop, it sounded like a gun.
Yeah.
And he's on stage talking, and he goes, "Missed me this time."
You could tell a joke.
Yeah.
He was an actor, but anyways, when you think about Donald Trump, you think about him in The Apprentice, just giving orders and firing Meatloaf. Meatloaf died.
Yeah.
He refused to get vaccinated, and then he got COVID.
I watched it. It's funny that we're talking about Meatloaf. I watched an episode of House
Yeah.
today with Meatloaf, and it was very similar to how he died in real life. His wife, him and his wife were both dying, but because his wife started dying, he started living. So she was she kept faking it so he would live, and then she actually started dying, and they were like, "You need to. We can save your life. She's much more on the brink of death, so we're gonna fucking kill her basically and give you her liver." And he's like, "No." So basically the same thing. He didn't want the.
I really like those convoluted network TV plots because I watch a lot of Columbo with my grandmother,
Right.
and it's like, God, how do I explain to you what's one Columbo episode? It's like the murderer will use magic tricks to set a timer to go up and kill someone. Then Columbo will notice that there's a stain on a glass that shouldn't be there, and it's just if I told you the plot of one of these, it takes 10 minutes to describe what the twins was doing at the same time when they put the coffee cup upside down, even though he used that cup on Thursday and that cup on Friday.
That's exactly how House is.
Yeah. I love the character, but it's no wonder why only old people can watch those shows.
It's just repetitive. They have no more memories, so it's I just keep banging you in the head with that same one.
Well, I mean, what I would say is that the TikTok generation just wouldn't been able to loop it to a beat.
Right, that's true.
But it's old people, old people will sit down and watch Marshall Dillon on Gunsmoke and give a 10-minute speech about the corn being rustled because it meant something.
Yeah. Sanford and Lamont couldn't. They couldn't do the fucking Instagram reels. They
No,
learned.
no, they couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep up.
That guy won. Red Fox, he won life. And I'll tell you why. He died with like $1 million owed in like back taxes. He timed it perfectly.
Yeah.
It was great.
He
just
died
lived
as he
like a
lived.
motherfucker. He lived like a motherfucker on the government's dime.
Yeah.
Never paid no taxes and cashed out and left it to his family.
He died as he lived. And of course, how he died is funny. I told you this. But people thought he was doing the Esther I'm coming routine.
Right.
So they didn't help him.
Yeah.
And then he died.
He was always coming for Esther.
Yeah.
He loved that movie.
Isaac and Doris. Isaac and Doris.
Yeah.
Sweet people.
There's this new show I've been watching.
Yeah.
It's called Severance. It's fucking dope. You have Apple TV?
No.
The concept of it is these people that voluntarily go through like a brain fucking operation that when they go to work and they're on their floor, they don't remember anything of the outside world. All they know is working. And then when they leave, they have no idea what they do for work. They don't, they know that they work at the building, but as soon as they go up the elevator and walk out of the fucking building, they're like, done with work. But you have no clue what you did. You don't know anything. It's crazy. And then when you go back to work, it's like the days fucking, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because you forget that you had a day off, or you forget that you had a whole fucking weekend off. But when you first listen to the premise of the show, you think like, oh, that's a great idea. Because you always hear people say, don't take your work home with you.
Yeah.
So it's like, that would be a great idea. But then you see, like, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you have no conception of, like, work at all, it's like, that's when, you know, like, I wouldn't do that just because, like, my memory's bad enough as is, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But, like, of course, and experience in all reality is important because you need to form ideas about life, and you do that through accumulating experience, you know. Everything reinforces everything, and everything teaches you everything.
Right.
Because you get lessons that are applicable to life as a whole, you know.
Well, it's interesting because the main character is doing it to basically hide from what happened in his real life, which is his fucking wife died or some shit.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that because so you listen to the premise, you're like, that's a good fucking idea.
Yeah.
And then you watch the show and you're like, Jesus, this is terrible. Who would willingly do this? Yeah. And then you learn this about this guy and you see why he does it. Yeah. And you're like, wow, that's there's probably people who in real life would take advantage of that. Definitely.
Especially if it was, you know, paid enough.
Right.
Yeah. What? Man can look. I understand that man can only serve one master, God or Mammon. I try to serve one, but I won't lie. You need to at least look at the other occasionally. You gotta make money.
That's right.
Even if it's not completely good, you have to make money.
That's right.
Yeah. Money.
Mr. Krabs had the right fucking idea.
Mr. Krabs is every millennial that I see posting like, I invested $1,000 in Bitcoin and 3 hours later I came back with $10,000. It's real, guys. You can do it. It's real. Come on, just put your money in the machine. Did you see the Super Bowl ads?
Did you see No, I didn't.
With the one with Larry David, and he plays a guy that dismisses inventions throughout history, like the wheel and the aqueduct and paper and electricity, and then he finds Bitcoin, and that's the new technological revolution that he falls in love with.
So they're getting behind it now.
Yeah, because cryptocurrency is what so many people are throwing their money into to try to make, get rich quick.
Right.
It's the financialization of everything. Even JPEG art that you can just steal, or when you produce stuff like the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Right. That shit's crazy. That's a whole
I think it's worth like $1 billion now.
Oh yeah, they're blown up. Just some crazy securitized fucking product.
Just keep paying into it.
But it is I mean, you can look at it as a commodity. You know what I'm saying? Or like a fine piece of art. Even though they look stupid, the actual illustrations, some of them are dumb. But for whatever reason, people are willing to pay this price for them. That's literally the only thing that drives price.
Well, yeah,
what people are willing to pay.
That's because art has been used by rich people to launder wealth for for hundreds of years.
Sure.
Well, I mean, that's why paintings are worth so much, Don't get me wrong, there's aesthetic beauty to like a Monet or a Mona Lisa or Picasso or I can't think of any other painters. I'm not
Dali.
Salvador Dali, yeah.
Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Okay.
Mother's tits. Those can paint pretty good.
That last one I'm not so sure about.
French.
But on episode 100. So, man, I'm just thinking about this in the catalog. It's like, got the guy that invented the antibacterial spray and came up through true human poverty. I agree with you, he's a model human being. What was the professor before him?
She was a woman.
She was a woman.
Professor.
Female
Sevilla.
professor.
Dr. Sevilla.
Dr. Sevilla.
From Peru, who spent a lot of time in the Amazon with an indigenous group.
Just, what did she do with them?
It was like coursework. She's working on like trying to write a book more or less on the history of the Andes region and the Amazon region and that type of thing.
Yeah, I can't claim to know much about, the indigenous peoples of Brazil, but I mean, that must be incredibly moving, those cultures have gotten a lot from governments in the region over the years. I don't know the history very well, but I can only imagine, like what she's doing is like really remarkable and brave, along with the guy that, two miracle workers, two amazing human beings. Then it's like one episode 155, and we're talking about pain, and you're like, and then you say that, it's like, okay, I'm glad.
It's just versatility, son. But the Amazon is actually it's like a tremendous area of research because of how little is known about it.
Yeah.
They're said to have been monumental cities, like full of people throughout the whole Amazon, but then Spanish came over with that old flu that they were giving everyone.
Hell yeah. And the Catholic Church said you can go and baptize all the heathens, and then a lot of truly unspeakable evil things happened. Yeah. Right. Damn shame.
But they
what was the last? Were the Incas in Peru? No. Chile is the long strip going down. Do you know where Peru is? Latin America.
I think it's definitely. I think it's in the north.
I think it's where that's where the Incan Empire was.
Yeah, you might be right. Are you looking up where Peru is? Because I am. You son of a bitch. Pornhub. Oh no.
Oh no. On the Smoking Simian podcast. I mean, it's Machu Picchu.
No, it's on the left. It's on the west.
Oh, okay.
We're fucking dumb.
We are.
Nothing. But it is north. I guess you can consider it north, like the northwest.
Well, I mean, Machu Picchu is in Peru.
That's on Chalkstone Avenue, kid. Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu is an ancient is an Incan citadel, so it's like a fortress. I don't think they built a fortress in Chalkstone Avenue.
They did, and they sell food out of it. Peruvian food.
So then do we also have the Andes mountain region in Providence?
Yeah, it's on the same street actually.
The mountain range. Okay, good.
The Andes and Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
People make fun of Rhode Island, but they don't understand some of the shit we have here.
People make fun of Rhode Island because we're small. Nothing ever happens here.
Yeah.
It's cold.
I remember being a kid and watching like those. You remember Spike TV used to have. It was like wildest videos, or whatever. It was like police chases. And
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There was never any in Providence.
It was like that cop. It was like, he had a voice like this.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but like I used to be obsessed with that when I was little. Like I would just listen to him narrate. Like 2 cars going in action. The driver swerves to avoid it. Yeah. I'm a 25-year police veteran. Like he'd always wear like a leather jacket with slick back hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't send in videos for this.
Don't send in any videos. How do they get videos then?
Oh, people have been sending those motherfuckers in.
But like,
who do they contact?
it's definitely some private in like Tuscaloosa, some like police captain. It's like, oh my god, we just caught that guy doing like 50 because he was on like Quaaludes. Let's put it in.
No, and they always said nobody died.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's true.
Well, I mean that.
It was always like, this person got severely injured.
Look, that Ford F-150 jackknife at 90 miles an hour rolled over 3 times and landed on that other car. I'm sure everybody got a few bumps and scrapes, but they're fine.
But nothing, even on like the show Cops, nothing ever happened in Rhode Island. I remember being a kid, I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
Or like, remember when FBI's Most Wanted would be on? That was another one.
You know, we got nothing.
Just publicizing the fucking...
Literally, our media presence is so small that we get excited when they film a TV sequel to a Disney Channel TV movie.
Goddamn right down the street.
In a C tier.
Yeah.
Like no one...
They could have gone anywhere and they came here.
You won't find 25,000 people posting about Hocus Pocus 2. But you better believe that when they show up, it's like, oh my god, Hollywood is here. Yeah. They filmed at my high school, but they put like spoopy banners and like CGI ghosts or whatever.
Did they do it inside?
Because
when I was there, it was just people sitting on the steps.
I recognized that, there's one scene shot in front of one of my lockers on the 2nd floor. I forget what room. I want to say like...
How have you seen the scenes?
I haven't seen the scenes. I've seen like screen caps or like screenshots of like stills or whatever.
Gotcha.
And one of them is from my locker.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's where you were thinking about jerking off.
I'm not talking about that.
That locker. Yeah, that locker.
Oh, no.
Today was a long goddamn day. Miss Johnson was fucking being a bitch. Do geometry and jerk off.
No. I was not that kind
Now
of
Bette Midler is there doing fucking dressed as a witch. Is that who it is? I don't even know if that's who it is.
No,
It just sounded funny.
Trump once called her a washed-up psycho in a tweet. I think she's like a politics reporter for like the New York Times. Washed-up psycho, Bette Midler.
Have you seen that video of Joy Behar?
Donald Trump is now in my school and he plays like a character in Hocus Pocus 2 and he's like, that washed-up witch, Bette Midler, is at Nassau Academy. It's not good.
Joy Behar was talking about on whatever fucking show she's on.
The View.
Was it The View? There was a man. This might have been some other show. This is like modern Joy Behar I'm talking about. I feel like she was on The View years ago. I don't know if she's still on it.
I don't know. I know Whoopi Goldberg got taken off.
But anyway, she was on some show and the girl next to her was talking about Ukraine. And she's like, oh, well, our prayers are with all the people over in Eastern Europe and all that stuff. And they go over to Joy Behar and she's like, yeah, and I hope they don't get to Western Europe. Oh, God, it's so... You want to go on vacation, you spend a little money, you want to go somewhere, and then... Oh,
if you want to talk about terrible things, there have been, like, CNN reporters being like, it's so shocking to see what's happening in a civilized country, and it's like, we just got out of Afghanistan, or, in Iraq... were people so surprised because those were civilized countries before we sent our troops in there?
Right. I mean, every country's civilized until a fucking war is brought to them.
Like, every people, it meets the definition of civilization until you park an army in their country.
Right.
Yeah. So that was terrible. But that is bad. Like, God, where will people vacation? I'm going to have to cancel my...
Where'd you go to the Amalfi Coast this summer? I mean...
Paisan.
Now you got to put it off.
Paisan.
Paisan.
I was thinking about going to Crimea, the ancient Italian part of Crimea.
Yeah.
Maybe might have some, chicken Kiev, the way my ancestors used to eat. Maybe see Sevastopol,
Yeah.
Back in the old country.
Platsyov.
Yeah. I might see it now. And now I can't go. Yeah.
What a load of shit.
Joy Behar, Yeah,
She's an icon.
she is.
An icon for boomers. to drive home the fact that they're the worst generation around.
I don't know. I mean, let's think about boomer icons. Donald Trump, Rush Limbaugh, Joy Behar.
Is Rush Limbaugh a boomer? Like a boomer?
Boomers love him.
Yeah.
Come on.
A certain kind of boomer, right? Or is it all?
Sorry, my dad was born in 62, so he's a boomer and he loved Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
Loves Rush Limbaugh.
But I guess it also, I mean, because you can
The
have
Grateful Dead.
You can have left-wing boomers, no?
Yeah. Who do left-wing boomers love?
JFK.
Maybe.
They were babies, though. JFK was around.
You know, they were babies. Like, JFK is for, like, people that are too old. You know, for like, politics.
I remember when Kennedy was assassinated.
That's literally what my grandma says.
We were so fucking happy.
We were so sad. He was one of us. You know, he had girlfriends, but he was one of us.
That's right.
He was an Irish Catholic. And
It's
he was
so funny watching people get
and he
wrapped
was
up.
murdered by the military-industrial complex.
Right.
A lot
Forget that part.
in collusion with Cuban exiles and the American mafia.
Nice.
You know, the American mafia probably helped to kill Kennedy.
Have you watched any Oliver Stone?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I hear he's phenomenal.
I haven't seen JFK the movie, but I have seen a few of his movies. Platoon, the documentary he made.
Dude, what's that one about?
That's about his experiences in Vietnam.
He fought in Vietnam?
You know, he was an infantryman.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I knew a guy that did special operations in Vietnam.
My dad knew a guy.
I fucking blink all the time,
I haven't.
blocking out the images.
I mean, see, I've spoken to a few Vietnam vets. It's a horrible war.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
At least we went in there with a clear vision, and we made it happen. We left. We left our impression on
You know, the South Vietnamese government lasted 3 years.
it. Right.
The Afghan government lasted 2 weeks. Yeah.
Damn.
So not even saying that wars should be judged by their productive value, because wars are humanitarian disasters and evil regardless of why. But it's like, yeah.
Well, I was saying that Vietnam was based on nothing.
Vietnam is based on lies and the actual politics of the Cold War.
Right.
And, the military. And, there's a lot of money to be made supplying the army with the tools of the trade. You better hope when they drop the bomb, they drop it on the Viet Cong.
Not us.
That's because hippies, like everybody knew about the arms industry when they were at Woodstock.
Right.
And the reason why is because the A-bomb, it's because some Air Force generals did want to nuke Vietnam, because we did everything short of nuking them. We dropped more bombs on it than every other country on the planet. We used chemical defoliants that cause birth defects and give our troops cancer,
Was that before you couldn't use chemical weapon? Obviously.
Well, I mean, chemical weapons have often been used at war,
Just defined differently. Like you can use tear gas.
You can use tear gas non-natively, but like we gave chemical weapons to Iraq to use against when they fought a decade-long war with Iran in the 80s. The Germans used mustard gas in World War I, and mustard gas was used in several colonial wars. Against the British used them against Iraq in the 30s. Dive bombing, shit like that. So chemical weapons have been used.
Yeah, but I thought they were deemed illegal at some point.
They are, but
Right.
We just like they're not used regularly, but it is technically how they're classified, because what I'm talking about in Vietnam is like Agent Orange.
Yeah.
You can use Agent Orange to drop it on men, but you can use it to burn the canopy of the jungle down. But fire spreads,
There's a bunch of by the ways.
By the way, never underestimate the power of a, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, I needed you to do 10 more things here while you're here. So,
Well, I mean,
by the way.
that's one of the best ways to, to include a nasty piece of information called
is.
burying the lead.
All right, guys. We can't use chemical weapons to kill men directly.
Yes, that would be illegal.
But we can use it to kill the food that people would eat.
Yeah.
That would inadvertently kill them, but also could kill us.
Well,
later
on. You see the same thing with sanctions.
Yeah.
Sanctions are always said as an alternative to war. Okay, we're not bombing them, we're sanctioning them, and it's like that is another form of war. It's just economic war. Like, I think what Russia is doing in Ukraine is horrible, and I want the war to end now. But, like, Russia's been, all but cut off from the world economy. Like, literally, like, Russians have an app on their phone that uses, like, Google Pay to, like, pay fares. And when Google cut the Russians out because of, when the army went into Ukraine, Russians were just kind of stranded, like they needed to use like pocket change for the first time in like forever.
Right.
And it's like
damn near obsolete.
Yeah. Or the fact that the ruble is plummeted in value, like the Russian people will be feeling this war.
Right.
And like in addition to a lot of them protesting it, a lot of soldiers not wanting to fight it, it's like, same thing. It's like, yeah, we can't starve them, but we can certainly make them hell. Like, make hell for the Russian people.
Right. That's fucking brutal. Because, ultimately, especially when there's a tyrant in power, they don't give a fuck about the people, no matter how much they protest, no matter how much they do anything.
No, they're arresting dissidents in Russia now.
Right. So it doesn't matter how fucking upset everyone is and protesting, they're just going to keep bombing motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
And we're going to keep starving them because, we can hurt Russia politically. And yes, there is some official rhetoric about, yes, we want the Russian people to overthrow them. But, like, Putin is a result. Putin came to power because the Soviet Union fell. And then, we helped to elect Yeltsin. And Yeltsin allowed the, oligarchs to loot the Russian economy. And
What's I don't know if you would know, but...
Yeah.
What's the fucking term for the president of Russia?
On paper, technically, Vladimir Putin is just the president of Russia.
And that's it.
That's it. If you want to talk about titles, the Russian Caesar is called the Tsar.
Right. I know that. But I'm saying, like, how long is that held for office?
He modified the Constitution to abolish term limits.
He did that?
Yeah. Because he's been the president of Russia for the past 8 years.
How the fuck did they pass that? Everyone agreed. Yeah?
Well, because,
it's a different way of thinking, obviously, but...
Yeah, well, okay, there's several reasons. One, after the Soviet Union fell, democracy came to Russia, but so did, capitalism without laws and regulations, because there were none, because the entire Soviet system just collapsed.
Right.
They bought up all the things, they privatized industry, crime got really bad, because, like, there was no government. And then, the government was weak, and the government needed to figure out what to do, and it's like you just kind of told the nation to start over. Then Putin was elected president, and he got all the oligarchs together, and he made the same deal that a lot of rulers can make, which is, I will take care of you, I'll bring up the standard of living. And then, and that means that he silences opposition, jails opponents, poisons a few people here, but he brings stability to a country that went through a lot of pain and suffering in the 90s.
So he was really right place, right time.
Right place, right time, right leadership, but also right conditions. Like the life expectancy of a Russian person dropped from like high 70s in 1989 to like, I want to say high 60s, like in the 90s. It was very bad to be a Russian. Because, America has, foreign territories and states and military bases of power. If that all just went away, and like say half the states voted just to leave the Union, you better believe we would be suffering.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and if a guy can bring some kind of that stability back, that means he has the political power to do what he wants.
It is crazy, like, putting the United States in perspective, because it's the only country that is made up of other regions that you may call countries within a continent.
Yeah, no, when you learn about the law, you realize just how odd our country is, to govern.
Yeah, I'm finding that through reading that fucking godforsaken book that I can't fucking finish.
Well, you're reading early 19th century political philosophy.
It's brutal.
But I can imagine.
I'm finding that
There are 50 mini republics, each with their own laws. They can disagree on certain laws.
Yeah.
And they have political cultures that mean that, like, there's a deep cultural division between each of them, at least on paper at this point.
Right.
You know?
It's strange, especially to come from that guy's perspective.
Yeah.
In the fucking early 1800s, where it's just been monarchies and fucking, I don't know, emperors or whatever the fuck you would call them. Kings and shit.
Kings, emperors, sultans.
And he even says that during that time, people were starting to lean toward democracy, but nobody was really taking a leap like this country was.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because then you think of, obviously, the Soviet Union, and that is like the communist version.
Yeah.
And it was, how long was it around?
70 years.
70
About.
years. So that's, we've been around fucking 300.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that for whatever reason this one worked. But it's kind of the same case. It's kind of the same case as where Putin came in at a time where motherfuckers needed an answer and he had one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened after America won the revolution. It's like, we won, okay, now what? What the fuck do we do? You know?
Yeah.
And then the people in power decided that we're going to make this motherfucker free. And then 300 years from now, we're all going to be complaining about what we have in between our legs and what we have to call each other because of it.
Yeah. And yet we're still fighting wars.
Right.
Still sending guns and boys overseas.
But we got 6 flavors of Doritos to pick from, brother.
Well, I
We
mean,
are okay.
you said one of the funniest observations about contemporary American society. You said, like in the group chat, I think it was earlier today, or no, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
It's like, man, just eat some food and watch some movies, brother.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, but
It was
that's,
after you posted videos of Biden saying Iranians instead of Ukrainians.
okay, look.
And I was like, it's
I
alright,
have,
man.
especially after the Ukrainian thing, I've almost completely disengaged from news and politics just for my health, just for like, I see it, but it's like I don't consume it as like I'm not a person who's in the news anymore. Like I just encounter it casually now, like most people. But when I hear the president like make a mistake like that, it's like that is
Encouraging.
makes you nervous. Like you could have a stutter, I could just be jumping the gun, but it's like that is the president, and he did get Iran confused with Ukraine. It's like those are two different countries, and those are.
I think he's old, and I think he had a major brain surgery.
Yeah.
And he, I don't know if he probably, he got them confused, but like, fuck, he's working with some fucked up hardware, and it's a shame that he is, it's unfair to him to be in that position.
I mean, I feel bad for him, honestly. Yeah. It's like I'm not the kind of guy that gets emotional about the president, because I think that the people that overvalue the president is like, like he's like a totem of emotion for people. Like probably ever since like Trump was a major focal point for a lot of people's emotion. Like you either hated him or you loved him.
Right.
Like just as a person, I do feel bad for Biden, because like his own party won't vote for him, and a lot of people openly disrespect him. Like, I'm not a big civility guy, but, like, there's literally, like, a really common saying that just means, fuck you, Joe Biden now, and it's like...
He's like he's like a substitute.
Yeah.
That is really old, and everyone knows they can fuck around in class.
Literally. But, like, he's the substitute that's, like, trying... He's not good.
Right.
Not great. But he's trying the best that he can to, like, make things a little better.
Right. Despacito.
Yeah. And the entire class is just fucking with him. The entire world's just fucking with him. Half the class is sick. The Russian kid just punched with the kid sitting next to him. He's just like, come on, man.
Come on, Jack. We had a guy in middle school, his name was Mr. L.
Oh, I've heard about him.
We told you about Mr. L. He was in
Yeah.
He was in the Navy or some shit. But anyway, he would every black kid's name was Hakeem.
Oh no.
We had one kid in class, his name was Rakeem. But he would always call him Hakeem.
Okay.
And then every black kid after that, man, woman, whatever.
Did he do it like
Hakeem.
maliciously, or was
No, he was just old as shit.
He was that
You could
old.
scream things. You could scream titties in the back of the room. You wouldn't notice. He's on the board, turned around, writing something.
What would he teach?
He was a sub. I mean, I think by trade he was a history teacher, but he was a sub.
Was he particularly knowledgeable?
Not at the stage we got him.
Senile.
He was just old, shuffling around. Supposedly pissed himself one day. I wasn't in the class, but
Oh God.
that's what all great old people do. They piss in front of people. They don't care. Clint Eastwood did it on TV.
Clint Eastwood didn't piss him.
Yeah, he did. He pissed on himself. You ever watch that?
No.
He was at some live event and pissed on himself.
I love Unforgiven. That's one of my favorite movies.
If you want to be disappointed, watch Cry Macho. Have you watched it?
No, man.
It's so bad.
Look, I got high. And I watched Unforgiven, and I had great emotions about my grandpa because he loved those old Western movies.
Totally.
And when Clint Eastwood talks to Gene Hackman, and Gene Hackman says, "You shot an unarmed man," and Clint Eastwood just replies, "He should have armed himself then." Badass. And now he's 95 and singing old music and helping a boy find a rooster named Macho, and a 40-year-old woman wants to sleep with him. It's like, come on, man, you're 93.
He punches a guy in the movie like he's still supposed to be a badass.
You're 93.
I don't know. It would have been good to see him play a part that is for a 93. Like, you could be a cowboy, whatever, but you can't be punching people.
Unforgiven.
Strong-armed
Have you seen Unforgiven?
No.
Unforgiven works as a movie because Clint Eastwood plays an age-appropriate character. In Unforgiven, he plays an old cowboy who was just a drunken murderer, who then got reformed by a woman, has 2 kids, then she dies, and he's a widower, and he works pouring a pig farm, and a young kid who idolizes him as a gunslinger comes up, and he has to go into town and kill a man that disfigured, sex workers. It's a great movie because he's a hollow, broken man of violence, and it works at the end of the movie because even though he's old and decrepit, he's still a very good killer.
Right.
But it's not a happy movie. It works because this is what a Clint Eastwood character would be at 65. Him at 93 would be great.
Right.
Speaking of people, my grandfather, I think Robert Duvall made a movie called not the Mexican, but just a one-word title, where he plays a very old man that goes with a boy down to Mexico. But the point is that he's an old man.
Yeah.
But Clint Eastwood falls in love with a 40-year-old woman that wants to sleep with a 93-year-old Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
It's
weird.
It's sad.
Yeah, I know. It's because a lot of his movies have that feel to it.
Yeah.
But he could have totally played a similar role that he did in Gran Torino.
Well, no, but in my opinion, it's that's just symptomatic of what I said before, why people like comedians like you. Because Clint Eastwood feels that he needs to make movies and make content. He's a great director. I think Richard Jewell's a great movie. But people just want more content. And that means that art's just put on this assembly line where Clint Eastwood has the money to still think he can punch a guy at 93 years old.
Right.
And, it just makes trash.
It's fame, too, though. To keep up with that shit. He doesn't need to. He's doing it at this point because he just that's what he does. Make movies and be an actor, but there are people that you see. Who is that dude? What was his name? Orlando something from That's So Raven. After That's So Raven, he turned into a crazy guy, and he got on Vlad TV and was doing... he was known for his crazy antics after that. He had to find a new way to be famous because he was a famous kid, grew up to be a fucking crazy person, didn't get cast in anything else, didn't take acting seriously.
Because he was crazy?
Yeah, I think he ended up doing drugs or something. All the child actors most child actors end up doing anyway. So.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Who gives a fuck, right? Who cares?
Well, I think we gotta, come on,
Everything's meaningless. Nothing ever mattered. Tell that to your kids, all you guys listening out there.
Is that
Start
the note that
off
we're
right.
going to end the show?
That's right.
We're not ending the
That's
show.
right.
5
We're
more
done.
minutes.
We're finished.
Come on. I hope you have a great time at the show tonight. Everybody, this kid's comedy career is taking off. Yeah.
That's
Awesome. This is of no importance.
There we go.
Do you hear the silence?
All you're gonna hear when it's all over.
Alone?
This is all you're gonna hear. Listen. That's it.
No. If you want to hear what you're gonna hear, it's just that. It's just dead silence.
Death.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you shut your eyes tonight and hear nothing, contemplate the silence that awaits us all, and think of the Smoking Simian podcast.
And think if silence is for you, because you can get there quicker.
If you prefer silence, please listen to an episode of the Smoking Simian so that you can approximate that feeling of dread.
All right, motherfuckers, we're done. Peace.